Hey everyone, today we're going to rank all of Dead by Daylight's cosmetic killers. These are all the killer characters that can only be used through cosmetics. They aren't their own character with powers and abilities in game, but are still supposed to represent someone or something different. These characters appear primarily in legendary or ultra rare skins. Let's get into it. Starting off, we have the legendary character for the Cenobite named the Chatterer, who's another Cenobite. Don't get me wrong, this is a cool looking skin. However, I would argue it's not enough of a change from Pinhead for him to feel all that different. But again, they're both Cenobites, so it's kind of bound to be the case. Weirdly, one of the parts of the Chatterer that I like the most is actually the gloves. As one of the few killer body parts you can actually see in game, they look pretty cool and have this alternating coverage. The Chatterer himself has this super creepy mouth for a face essentially, and eyes that are just completely gone. The constant chattering of the teeth and the fact that they actually have their own unique sound is pretty cool, and a really nice little extra for his design. The Birch Witch from Crypt TV is up next. This is a cosmetic for the Hag, which is a nice choice for the character, with them both being witches and having these tree or branch-like appearances. A bit like the Chatterer skin, this one feels quite similar to the Hag, which I think is partly why this wasn't made into a legendary skin, just a very rare cosmetic. The main differentiating feature is the headpiece. It's like this cool, elongated, knotted branch crown. The whole skin or character is cool as it gives Hag this creepy tree-like body, or more specifically birch tree body. You can see the colour and pattern of the wood, the way it peels like a birch's bark does. It's really cool, and there's this awesome little branch belt thing also, with a little charm hanging down. It's almost like the Birch Witch's own triangular hex shape that the Hag has. Crypt TV's Mordeo is what we're looking at next. This is a skin for the Huntress. This is a great choice and fits perfectly on the Huntress as a similar wood roaming character with almost mythical qualities. I love the visuals of the Mordeo. The main ones being the big creepy teeth and the emptiness of the bone mask. The antlers are also quite cool too, adding a little more elevation to the character. I also really like the axe they designed for this character. I don't believe this is part of the Modeo's character within the series, but instead was a necessary creation for the Huntress, as she required an axe weapon. I think it's really nice looking, and is up there for some of the best available axes on the Huntress. Next up we have the Krampus, a folklore character, appearing as a skin for the Trapper. This cosmetic has quite a festive theme with its bells, berries and holly. This is likely because the Krampus is often a story told around Christmas to scare children. I really like that they made a new physical design entirely for this character. It doesn't just look like the Trapper. You have these cool animalistic features like the hooved and curved feet, the longer ears and the big twisty horns. It's visually quite creepy and has a nice snowy coat as well. I'm not sure how well this character works as a Trapper cosmetic, but then again I can't really think of another killer who would have been a better choice, so I'm pretty okay with it. Moving on, we have the Minotaur from Greek mythology. I really love mythology in general, and particularly Greek mythology, so I most definitely have a bias toward this skin. I also really love how they depicted it here, with it having this armor or bits of clothing alongside its monstrous appearance. I kinda like the idea that the entity has just fused together a bunch of different ancient and mythological depictions of the Minotaur. Very cool looking and a perfect choice to have this character as an Oni skin. The sword is really nice and detailed, the hulking beastly body, the horns and the little tail, all of it's really great, and I'm so glad they decided to explore these myths in some form. Next up we have the Ferryman, who's also from Greek mythology. This is a character who is said to have carried the newly deceased souls across the river Styx within the underworld, from the land of the living to the land of the dead. The visual design of this character is simply stunning. There's so much intricacy on the small armor plates. There's these really detailed sections of his skin with these clawing hands and screaming mouths, all of them with this spooky green swirling liquid beneath them. I also really like that the weapon itself is literally an oar. I think that's just pretty cool. The color scheme is really nice too. I really love the turquoisey and sickly green color paired with the browns and golds. They took a fair amount of creative license with this one, I believe, but hey, it was totally worth it and is such a cool version of this character. Finally, my favorite skin has to be Crypt TV's The Looksee, available on the Doctor. This is one of the visually creepier skins in the game, like out of everything. It's also got a ton of cool detail and brings one of the best weapons also. This big wrench held in his clawed fingers and red gloves is so cool. And again, like the Mordeo, I believe this was thought up as the Looksee's weapon, and then further integrated into its design design with the wires that curl up his wrist. It's a really cool way to introduce the power of the Doctor onto the character of the Luxie, who's already perfect with his wide and teethy grin, which is just so unsettling. There's something so creepy about the eyeless, noseless, and earless head of the Luxie. The deep cutting scars paired with the wide alligator-like mouth is something I find really unsettling. So yeah, it does its job. A quick mention of Robbie the Rabbit from Silent Hill that appears as a Legion skin just before we end. Now this one is kind of a technicality because this character is actually just the Legion in costume. In the lore it states that these are just costumes and not actually the bunnies from Silent Hill. I thought I'd cover this briefly though because it's cool they're in the game, and it was a creative way to introduce them, basically giving the Legion these costumes to wear and embody this character of Silent Hill. Alright, well that's gonna do it. I do hope you enjoyed, and be sure to drop your own ranking or favorite cosmetic killer out of these down below. Thanks, and goodbye.